Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So if you're a content creator, maybe a studio head, or honestly just curious about where media is going, you've seen how fast AI video generation is moving. It's kind of mind-blowing. This deep dive, consider it your essential shortcut. We're looking to the big three right now: Sora, VEO, and Runway.
That's right. We're diving into the age of synthetic media, episode 2, really focusing on these major players. And our mission today, it's sort of twofold. First, let's look under the hood. What's the tech? What are their business goals? But second, and this is the big one for everyone listening who actually makes stuff, is this tech replacing film crews? Or is it shaping up to be more like a collaborator?
Yeah, it really does feel like magic sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You type in a prompt, something like a drone shot over a futuristic Tokyo marketplace at dusk, and boom, out comes this incredibly consistent, high-fidelity scene. It even gets things like light and gravity right. But it's not magic, obviously. It's engineering. So maybe let's start with the foundation. What's the tech they all share?
Okay, so all three of these platforms, Sora, VEO, Runway, they're built on a core technology called Latent Diffusion. Think of it like digital sculpting. The model doesn't start empty. It starts with just noise, like pure digital static. And then over dozens of steps, it refines it, stripping away that noise to reveal the video that matches your prompt.
Exactly. And the latent part is key for efficiency. Instead of doing all this heavy lifting on massive raw video frames, they do it in a compressed world, this kind of digital blueprint space called the latent space. It just makes the whole thing faster, cheaper, and uses less energy. Okay, so latent diffusion gets you the picture. But video needs smooth motion, right? Things need to stay consistent over time, maybe even a whole minute. How do they nail that? Object permanence and all that.
Right. That's where the second piece comes in. The transformer architecture. It's actually the same kind of architecture that powers large language models, like GPT. To handle video's complexity, because you've got space and time, the model breaks the video down into these small conceptual blocks called space-time patches.
Oh, like little 3D comic book panels that stack up over time.
That's a great way to put it, yeah, exactly. The transformer then looks at all these patches together across the whole video's duration. This global view is what lets it understand long-range context. So if a cat walks into the frame here, the model knows where that cat probably should be 3 seconds later. It keeps the motion fluid and objects consistent.
Got it. So that's the shared engine. Now, how does each company put its own spin on it? Let's start with OpenAI's Sora. They're calling themselves the world simulator. What does that actually mean?
Well, it means their big ambition isn't just generating pretty video clips. They're trying to understand and simulate the physics of the real world, cause and effect, how light bounces off things, object permanence, the underlying rules.
And that focus must drive some specific technical choices, right?
It absolutely does. A huge one is that Sora was trained on videos in their native aspect ratios and durations. This sounds technical, but it's really important. I mean, Sora can handle, say, widescreen cinematic shots or vertical mobile video just as well. It doesn't have to awkwardly crop or reformat the training data, which fits their goal of, consolidating everything onto one platform eventually.
And what about the training data itself? I heard they did something clever there because getting good video text pairs is hard.
They did. It's called the recaptioning technique. Basically, they used GPT-4, their own powerful language model, to write super detailed, almost screenplay-level descriptions for all the videos in their training set.
Wait, so they had an AI generate these really rich cinematic descriptions for every training clip?
Pretty much, yeah. Think about the advantage that gives them compared to just using basic human-generated tags like car driving on road. It helps explain why Sora seems so good at understanding really nuanced, complex prompts and even specific camera moves. It learned from better descriptions.
Okay, interesting. Let's switch gears to Google's VEO3. They seem to be positioning themselves differently, more as the cinematic expert.
That's their angle, definitely. VEO isn't necessarily aiming for world simulation first. It's aiming to master the language of professional filmmaking, to fit into existing high-end workflows.
And their big differentiator reflects that focus, right? The audio thing.
Exactly. Unified audio-video generation in a single pass. This is a huge deal. Early AI video often felt like silent films. VEO generates the dialogue, the sound effects, the ambient noise along with the video, all synchronized. That makes the output way more useful straight away for, production houses.
And it's not just audio, they're also pushing for cinematic literacy.
Right. VEO is specifically trained to understand and execute prompts with filmmaking terms. Things like dolly shot, or rack focus, or make this look like golden hour. Plus, they're tackling character consistency, that common AI problem where your main character looks slightly different in every shot. VEO lets you feed it up to 3 reference images to help keep characters or key objects looking the same across different clips. That's big for pros.
Okay, that leaves Runway's Gen 3 Alpha. They seem to have carved out this artist's toolkit identity.
Yeah, Runway's always felt like it was built for artists, by artists. Their goal seems much more focused on democratizing the tools, putting power directly into creators' hands.
And their tech reflects that. More flexibility.
Definitely. Multimodal flexibility is key for them. Their framework handles text to video, image to video, even text to image, all kind of seamlessly within one system. That's what allows cool tools like their motion brush, where you can literally paint motion onto a still image.
And their training approach. I heard something about dense temporal captioning.
Right, so instead of just one caption for a whole clip, their captions evolve, like minute by minute or even second by second through the video. This helps the model learn how to create really smooth, sometimes quite imaginative transitions between scenes. It's not just generating isolated moments. And folks often note Runway seems particularly good at generating photorealistic human faces, ones with believable expressions.
Okay, so we've got the shared core,
Mm-hmm.
latent diffusion plus transformers. But then Sora is tuning for world simulation, VEO for cinematic language and audio, Runway for multimodal artistic flexibility. It's clear they're aiming at different people. Which brings us to the business side. How are they planning to actually win in the market? Their strategies seem quite different.
Wildly different, yeah. And these plans really show who they see as their main customers. Let's start with OpenAI and Sora. Their play is clearly platform consolidation, ecosystem lock-in.
Right, and they're making it super easy for people already using ChatGPT. Bundle Sora 2 Pro access into the existing $20 a month ChatGPT Pro subscription.
Exactly. It's designed for massive user retention. They want Sora video generation to feel just as natural and easy as using ChatGPT for text, or DLE for images. Keep the general user, the storyteller, anyone curious, all within that OpenAI walled garden. Make OpenAI the default AI tool for, well, everything.
Meanwhile, Google with VEO is taking a completely different path. Enterprise integration. They're not really chasing the everyday consumer, are they?
Not directly, no. They're focusing hard on the professional and enterprise markets. Studios, developers, companies needing high-volume generation. You see it in how they're embedding VEO into tools like Google Flow for storyboarding and Vertex AI on the Google Cloud platform. And their pricing screams enterprise infrastructure, charging 50 cents, 75 cents per second for API access. That's aimed at businesses, not individuals paying $20 a month.
Okay, and then Runway. Staying true to their brand, aiming for the professional creative suite model.
Absolutely. They're positioning themselves as the dedicated platform for visual artists, indie creators, marketers. They highlight features like Motion Brush, Act 1 animator-specific creative tools.
And their pricing fits that too, right? The credit system.
Yeah, it's a granular credit-based system. Gen 3 Alpha costs, I think, 10 credits per second. It's transparent, it scales directly with usage. That really appeals to professionals who need fine-grained control over costs for specific projects.
So this kind of strategic arms race, it leads directly to a big question, the core tension for anyone listening who actually creates content. We have these incredibly powerful tools. They can simulate reality, understand cinema. Do they replace the film crew, or do they become a new kind of partner?
Well, the argument for replacement, it's pretty stark, and it's largely economic. You hear figures from people like Mark Andreessen, the venture capitalist, predicting maybe 80–90% reduction in production costs. That's huge.
And that theoretical number translates into real-world decisions pretty fast. Like the Tyler Perry example, him pausing that massive $800 million studio expansion after seeing what Sora could do. He basically said, wait, maybe I don't need half these physical stages anymore.
Exactly. And when you look at who gets hit first by that kind of disruption, it tends to be specific roles. Junior VFX artists doing routine cleanup, maybe freelance editors doing basic commercial cuts, motion graphics folks, short-form content creators churning out lots of simple videos. And we have to be aware of the potential for workforce inequality. Studies are already showing that contingent workers, temporary staff who are disproportionately from certain demographic groups and often have less access to retraining, they face the highest risk of displacement. We're already seeing automation replacing some temp roles.
That's a sobering picture. But there is a counter-argument, right? The collaboration side, it often centers on intent.
Right. Creative intent. AI can generate something that looks polished, technically perfect even, but can it make those thousands of tiny subtle choices, the specific camera angle, the precise depth of field, that one flicker of light in the actor's eye, the things that give a scene real artistry, real emotional weight?
So the idea is AI might look good, but feel hollow, without a human vision guiding it.
That's what many experienced directors and cinematographers are saying. So AI becomes less of a replacement and more of a powerful augmentation tool. It handles the grunt work.
Right, like pre-visualization. Instead of weeks drawing storyboards, a director could try out dozens of visual ideas in just a few hours. Or automating the really tedious stuff, rotoscoping, maybe assembling a first rough cut, basic effects work. It frees up human time and budget for the high-level creative thinking.
And critically, this shift is actually creating new roles. We're already seeing job titles like prompt director, AI supervisor, generative video designer popping up. These are people who can bridge that gap between artistic vision and the technical language that AI understands. Part artist, part engineer.
Okay, so it's not necessarily purely replacement or purely augmentation. The industry seems to be moving towards some kind of hybrid workflow. What does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, hybrid seems the most likely path forward. Humans stay in charge of the overall direction, the aesthetic choices, the emotional core. AI becomes this incredible tool for technical execution, for rapid iteration, for handling complex tasks quickly. But the key differentiator is control. Augmentation happens when the human is clearly leading the process. That actually creates a skill premium for people who adapt and learn to leverage AI effectively. Replacement, or de-skilling, happens when the AI operates more autonomously on repetitive technical tasks, pushing out people who haven't moved up the creative value chain.
So the message for creators listening is pretty clear then. The future isn't about just using AI, it's about learning how to lead it.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the nuts and bolts of latent diffusion and transformers to the very different business strategies of Sora, VEO, and Runway, and what that tells us about their goals, it's clear we're in the middle of a fundamental transformation in media production. AI video is this double-edged sword, isn't it? Unprecedented creative power for some, but a very real immediate risk for others, especially contingent workers in those technical roles, navigating this shift responsibly. That's the challenge.
Absolutely. And if you look at where these platforms seem to be heading next, Sora pushing towards better physics simulation, VEO digging deeper into cinematic language and maybe even script understanding, Runway building out these unified multimodal creative suites, just confirms that adopting this hybrid mindset, figuring out how to work with these tools, it's not just a good idea anymore. It's becoming a strategic necessity for pretty much every creator who wants to stay relevant.
Couldn't agree more. If you want to keep diving deep into what's happening in this incredibly fast-moving space, make sure you subscribe to the Before AGI podcast for more AI content. And for those of you who want to actually get your hands dirty with these tools, maybe see some tutorials or get more practical insights, please do check out my YouTube channel, Ochieng AI. That's Ochieng AI. We'll see you next time.